This is Dr. Bill Quarter, and I would like to address one question today. Is your makeup toxic? And by that, I mean, is your makeup toxic to your health? Now, before we start, I want to share my own biases. Number one, I'm one of those individuals who only looks in the mirror twice a day. That's it for me. Anything more would probably be detrimental. Number two, I'm one of those individuals who is strongly opposed to plastic surgery. I wish people would work less on the outside and people would work more on the inside. I think people need to work on improving their character. They need to work on improving their mind. They need to work on improving, or at least reevaluating, their beliefs and values. They need to work on becoming a better person. I think we live life from the inside out. Those people who improve the inside end up having a better life. Those people who have plastic surgery still have the dysfunctional family, still have the impaired relationships. They still have the same life. So with those biases, I'm also one of those individuals who thinks that women are just as beautiful without makeup as with makeup. Nevertheless, pushing aside those biases, I realize that most women love to wear makeup and are going to be wearing makeup on a daily basis for the rest of their lives. I know my wife goes through 10-15 minute ritual every morning. After 3 decades of marriage, you would think I would know the ritual when I don't. But I do realize that she'll put on moisturizer, she'll put on a sunscreen, she'll do a foundation, she'll do an eyeshadow, maybe an eyeliner. She'll put on some mascara. She'll put on lipstick. And I could go on on the different components. The women will know those much, much better than I will. But here's a question for you. With all of those components on makeup, how many synthetic chemicals do you think you're applying to your skin on a daily basis? Well, recently they actually have done a number of studies on the issue and found out the answer is 515. Now, those are 515 synthetic chemicals that are absorbed by the skin. Yes, the dose levels are low, but they're absorbed on a daily basis for decades. And so I believe, as a physician, that those toxins, those synthetic chemicals, are a small part of such a rising increase in illnesses, including cancer. Now, are there any studies that will verify that bias and that opinion? No. You're not going to find a huge group of women who are willing to be divided into 2 groups, one who takes makeup, one who does not take makeup, and study them for a decade. That's not going to happen. You do not get volunteers. But the companies that make the beauty products are becoming aware of the health factors. And so I recently attended a National Food Expo, but they had a huge section on beauty products. And it was because of this awareness of these 515 synthetic chemicals and the damage they were potentially doing. So here's the habit that I would like to recommend for the women and makeup. And it's a recommendation that you're not going to expect. I recommend that you develop the habit of spending more money and spending more money on your makeup. Now, on the surface, that probably makes no sense to you, but let me give you an analogy. In the United States, we have the cheapest food of any industrial country in the world. Yet, we have the highest level of physical illnesses, and we spend more money on health care per capita than any industrial country in the world. So the bottom line for cheap food is you pay less now, but you pay more later. I think the same is going to be true for beauty products. The less you spend now, the more synthetic chemicals you're absorbing. So if you increase what you spend, you're going to get a better product. And the better products, what they're now doing is they're moving from synthetic chemicals to organic compounds. They're moving towards organic compounds that are not going to be loaded with toxins. That's the movement in the industry. So I strongly recommend developing that habit, just spending more. And what I recommend specifically is that you take a look, even just briefly, at the back label and look at the label and see the number of synthetic compounds. And when you're shopping for beauty products, go ahead and ask, are there any organic new moisturizers? Any new organic foundation? I think the answer is going to be yes, progressively across the board. And that bodes well for the future, because if you spend more now today, you're going to have fewer health problems and spend less later. So for those ladies who do love makeup, and I do realize it does make you feel prettier, and when you feel pretty, you translate into an elevated mood, more vitality. So I appreciate all of those who wear makeup. I appreciate the work and effort you put in to putting on the makeup. But develop that habit and spend more, and see if it doesn't have a long-term positive impact on your overall health. I know it's a simple recommendation, but I think it's a recommendation that applies to makeup, it applies to food, and it actually applies to a lot of things. So it's a good habit to develop. If you want more information on makeup and toxins, feel free to check into the website. Feel free to subscribe. I think we can educate each other, and that's another small issue that can turn into a significant advantage. Thank you.